48.
Good morning, sir.
So I think we can start in another 2 minutes. It's already 10:48.
We'll wait for another 4 minutes. We'll exactly start at 10:50.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So your voice is a bit muted, I think.
Cherian, sir, can I start this session?
Yes, absolutely, sir. Yeah.
Okay. Good morning to all. Welcome to a webinar on CAT exam and career in management. Taking the blessing of Lord Sri Durgandeshwara and Mahaswamiji, I, Professor D.B. Madihalli, Faculty of Electronics and Communication, Engineering Department, Hiraj Sugar Institute of Technology, Midasosi, welcome you all to the webinar. On behalf of Principal, HOD, staff and entire participants, I heartily welcome today's speaker of this webinar, Mr. Cherian Thomas, sir, Chief Mentor, IMS, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. Welcome, you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the honor.
I welcome our beloved HOD, Dr. Ravi M. Yadahalli, sir, to this session. Welcome, you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
I extend warm welcome to all the participants and my dear colleagues. Welcome to one and all. So now I feel proud to introduce the speaker of the today's webinar, Mr. Cherian Thomas, sir. Sir completed his LLB in SDM Law College, Mangalore, and postgraduated LLM in Mangalore University. Sir completed his postgraduate diploma in management in Indian Institute of Management, Lucknow. He has been in leadership profiles in the education industry since 2013. He has mentored more than thousands of students to reach a prestigious institute like IIM and national law schools. He is a law graduate with extensive professional experience in the High Court of Kerala. Presently, sir working as a chief mentor in IMS, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. With this brief note, I conclude my introductory speech. Thank you one and all. So now I request to Mr. Cherian Thomas sir to start the session.
Right, sir. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Right, so everybody, a very good morning. And thank you for the opportunity to interact with you guys and hope to shape your careers. Okay. So we're going to be talking about how CAT is going to make a difference to your life, how management entrance exams, how doing an MBA will make a huge difference to your life. So I can talk about that because I have experienced it firsthand. So I decided on a career change around 8 years after I got into my practice. So somewhere I wasn't feeling satisfied. So job satisfaction is also a huge thing nowadays, right? So that is when I decided to try out for MBA. Basically, it allowed me to diversify into an area where I was really happy. So I've been in industry leading positions for the last 7 years, heading districts, heading states. So most importantly, I get to interact with a lot of youngsters like you, guide you. So students who have mentored even 2013, they're still in touch with me. And I feel very happy when they say that, sir, I've achieved this much in life. Thank you for that guidance at the right time. So that is one of the reasons why I got into this field. And I can say that MBA makes a huge difference in terms of what you can do and how your life will turn out. So just starting off. So I am sure that all of you know what CAT is. At least you would have heard of CAT. Now, at least back in the days when we were writing, CAT was like an annual pilgrimage for most of the engineers. So everybody who's in the final year of engineering would go and write CAT irrespective of whether they are prepared or not. Now, CAT basically is the exam which would help you get into a lot of B schools or MBA colleges in India. Okay. By latest statistics, there are around 4,500 MBA colleges in the country. So that's a huge number. Now, problem is that not all 4,500 are really good. Some of them are just there so that they can make money off you. But some of them genuinely will give you a good career, genuinely will help you reach leadership positions, genuinely will help you have a great career. Okay. So those colleges are the ones which have a higher cutoff, and those are the ones which usually come under CAT. Okay. So, but CAT is not the only exam that you should be looking at. And we'll talk about which other exams also you should be writing. But then primarily when you write CAT, target the top 50 institutions in the country in terms of ranking is what I would suggest. So basically CAT exam is conducted by the IIMs. There are 20 IIMs now. So when we were writing, we had only 6. So now the choices are increased, your options are increased. Okay. And every year, last Sunday of November is when CAT exam happens. So you still have another 3-4 months left for the CAT exam. Okay. So primarily about MBA, when we think about MBA, a lot of people have a lot of confusion. Okay, so one thing is obviously, is it worth it? So some people look at the fees and decide, okay, why should I be spending 20 lakhs doing an MBA in IIM Bangalore? So 20 lakhs is a huge amount. So that's what a lot of people think. Some people think, okay, should I work for a couple of years and then go for an MBA, or should I try it out right now? Some people will think maybe it's not for me. Okay, what will I learn? So I have learned engineering or I have learned law. How will I correlate that to management? So that confusion is also there. Now, again, when you get to MBA college, you have a lot of specializations. You have finance, you have marketing. So choosing that also becomes an issue. So a lot of people are not sure of what is the right program for them. Okay. And again, I'm sure that a lot of students would have doubts in terms of whether to go and study in Calcutta, whether to go and study in Delhi. So those kind of mindset also comes in because parents also are a bit skeptical in terms of sending their children to outer states and all. And most importantly, how do I begin? So what is the right time to start? What is the right way to prepare? And do I have what it is required to get into a top B school? So these are all doubts that a lot of you would have. I'm sure that even if you don't articulate it out of your friends, these are things that you would have thought of because everybody is worried about their careers. Particularly in a situation where we are in right now, where there is corona, there is a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of uncertainty in terms of job losses. There's a lot of uncertainty in terms of placements. So we need to have something which is a bit more clear-cut, something which gives us a better career or a safer career choice, correct? So what do we want from life? So some of us would look for money as a measuring something to define success. For others, it's about status. So how society perceives us, correct? For others, have a big house, be happy, buy a very swanky car, maybe have a lot of peace of mind. So when you have a strong bank balance, you have a lot of peace of mind, right? And maybe get married to a good-looking guy or a good-looking girl. So a lot of people have a lot of definitions for success. What makes them successful is personally, individually defined. So what is success for me may not be success for you. But end of the day, these are all things which count towards how you define success. So these are all the things which society also uses to assess whether you are a success. Now, how do I get there? How do I reach there? This depends on what I am doing. What is the time frame in which I do. So MBA is kind of like a express highway to that. So you can, I'm not saying that you will not be able to do all this in a normal career track, but MBA basically fast tracks you. So there may be things that you are interested in. So we know how it is in India, right? So if you are good in maths in 10th standard, your parents will say you have to go for engineering, you have to 11th and 12th, you will go for that science maths thing, then you will go for engineering. If you're good in, if you're not really good in maths, they'll say you go for commerce. Or you go, or if you have a real interest in biology, they say you go for medicine. So all of us have some interest. Now, end of the day, interest alone is not going to give us a career. The second thing that is required is whether the area that we have an interest in, does it have some scope? So I can be an excellent, let's say, football player. But if football is not developed in India, what kind of a career scope do I have? Will I make money out of it? So that is the second issue most people face. And the third issue is whether I have the aptitude for that. So I may be genuinely interested in a football career in football. Okay, I may really want to do that. But if I'm not very skillful in football, then again, this is not going to help me. So basically, there has to be a confluence of three things. You have to have an interest in that area. There should be some scope for that. And you have to have an aptitude for that. And all three comes together, basically, is where you have a successful career. Okay, so it can be teaching, it can be marketing, it can be finance, it can be operations, it can be HR, whatever. So end of the day, you have to be genuinely interested in that. Second thing, there has to be a scope for that. And third thing, you should have the aptitude for that. Okay. Now, there's a lot of research happening on why people go for an MBA. So primarily, these are the major reasons people go for an MBA. So a lot of people say that it's to acquire new skills and new knowledge. So like I said, we choose a lot of things in our life because there's a lot of peer pressure or there's a lot of wrong information. So maybe you joined an engineering degree because your cousin has done an engineering and he got selected to TCS or he's in on-site in US. So that might have been the reason for you to join engineering. Maybe 3 years down, getting additional skills, or maybe you're looking at a different career track. So I have a student for CAT. He is from College of Engineering, India. Now he's a college topper, second rank. He can sit and study anything. But we have this mentoring session. So every student has a direct interaction with all the mentors. He says, "Sir, I don't want to do engineering. I cannot do engineering. I don't enjoy doing this. I want to get into marketing." Now the only option for him now is to go for an MBA, get into marketing, and get that career. So the other important things that people choose an MBA is one, definitely there's a change in career, correct? So I passed out in 2013 from IIM Lucknow. So my batch had doctors, my batch had engineers, my batch had chartered accountants, my batch had commerce graduates, and I was the only lawyer. But end of the day, most of these people went for a job which they wanted rather than a job which they had to do. So there are doctors now working in finance companies, private equities and investment banks as consultants. There are commerce graduates who are working in the operations profile. There are engineering graduates who are HR profiles, HR managers. So it actually helps you change your career to something which you are really interested in or which you are really good at. Because what we study may not have a direct correlation to what is our strength, correct? So if you are not very good in maths but you are a very good people person, you have that good interaction skills, maybe marketing is a career for you, or maybe HR is a career for you. The second thing is accessing a strong network. So now India is huge on startups. So every day we see some Indian startup becoming a unicorn. So thing is that they don't start on their own. So basically you have to have a very strong network to support them. Now let's say you are studying in IIM Bangalore. So obviously your batchmates also may be interested in pitching in for your ideas. Most of the companies that you see in India which have been started by a set of people, They would have been classmates, or they would have been people who have worked together. It won't be some random people coming together and starting. And most of these successful companies have been started by people who are from top colleges. Okay, so accessing a strong network makes a big difference. And third thing is, it's a vertical move. So basically, you will be able to jump 2-3 profiles if you directly go for this. I'll give a simple example. There's a friend of mine, he studied from NIT Calicut. Now, this guy was a mechanical engineer, worked for 4 years in a company called Alstom, which I'm sure you know, it's a French company. Now, he did his MBA from IIM Lucknow, and he was selected to an analytics company. Now, this guy is a mechanical engineer, absolutely no exposure to analytics. The company had to teach him everything from ground zero. In spite of that, because he is from IIM Lucknow, this guy was placed as a consultant. And people who were recruited from local MBA colleges in Chennai, these people were recruited as analysts. Basically, from an analyst to consultant, there is actually 3 steps. So only on the 4th promotion will an analyst become a consultant. So people who would have studied in the same engineering college, people who have the same knowledge, just because they are graduating from a different college, as getting placed 4 steps above. So that is what a MBA from a top B school does for you. It advances your career in a vertical move. So you are directly put into, so when you graduate from a college, normal college, you get into the entry level positions. But when you graduate from a top B school, you're going to get into middle management levels, which from there your career path is smoother. So you get into leadership positions quickly. Okay. And obviously there's going to be a huge hike in your salary. Okay. There's going to be a substantial increase in your salary in terms of what you can directly after an MBA or what you can get directly right now. And then the moment you say you're from IIM Bangalore, or you're from IIM Calcutta, or IIM Ahmedabad, IIM Lucknow, obviously people have that, okay, oh, he went to this college, he must be really good. So that professional credentials is there, that people's the perception about you also will be a lot different. So these are all reasons to do an MBA, but primarily it maybe helps you change your career track if you think you've made a mistake. It gives you a vertical increase in terms of your salary and your positions. Maybe in the future, if you are looking for a strong career or let's say entrepreneurship, you will have a network to fall back upon. Okay, you get a lot of information from these colleges because the top companies all come there. Okay, and you can increase your salary. So these are all excellent reasons why you should be considering an MBA rather than looking for a normal career track. So this is basically a comparison of 2 students who would be graduating from an engineering college this year. So as if you are getting into a IT company. So typically 80% of the placements in most of the colleges happen for IT companies. Now let's say you and your friend go for your this thing. Okay. You go for sit for placement, your friend has decided he's going to do an MBA. Now let's say he doesn't make it to a top B school. Let's say he makes it to a decent B school which offers a 10 lakh salary. Now you join a company like Infosys or TCS, maybe your starting salary is around 4 lakhs. And even after 3 years when you get 10%, let's say you get 10% hike, which doesn't really happen. But if you're getting 10% hike, at the end of year 4, your salary will be 5.85 lakhs. Okay, and the guy who went for an MBA college, 2 years no income because he's studying, but on 3rd year he's going to get placed at 10 lakhs. Okay, and next year is going to get 11 lakhs. So which means that after the end of 4 years, he has made more money than you. Okay, but his annual salary is twice your annual salary. And that difference is going to grow because every 10% increase from a 10 lakh and a 10% increase from a 4 lakh is entirely different. And the guy who is from a MBA, good MBA college, he is going to be put in a middle management position. He will not be put into entry level. So most likely, let's say you get into a company like Infosys or TCS and you decide to continue that without going for a career enhancement like an MBA. 4 years, 5 years down the line, you will definitely find that your junior is your boss. So this has happened. So that is one of the reasons many people have quit software engineering jobs. Okay. And the other thing is that when you work in, so I sat in a campus where 90% of my colleagues were engineers. So 90% of my batch was engineers, 10% non-engineers like doctors, commerce, and myself a lawyer. So 90% engineers and 80% among them are software engineers. Now, each and every one of them, I asked them, why did they go for MBA? Why did you decide to give up this? No specific reason. After working, they said that I cannot do one more day of coding. They're sick and tired of it. They want to get more career advancement. They want to get better salaries. They want to get more responsibilities. So that career growth is going to come only from MBA. So you have 2 options. So either you can work for 2 years and then go for an MBA, or you can directly go for an MBA right now. But end of the day, no matter which company you're going to get in, if you want an advancement in your career, if you want to really grow in your company, then it is essential that you do an MBA. So you cannot escape that fact. Now, even in India, when you look at the current situation, there is divestment happening. So every government company is being made a private company, and government is also going to stop recruiting a lot of people. So government is trying to reduce its headcount, which means going forward, you will not find a lot of government jobs. Correct. So a lot of you people would have thought about writing GATE because you have a lot of public sector companies. But then those public sector companies are also being sold off. They are becoming private companies, which means that your salary is going to, again, not going to be the same as a government level salary. Okay, so that is one thing. Second thing is the government jobs themselves will come down, means you will have to look for jobs in the private sector. And when you look for jobs in the private sector, having an MBA from a top college is one of the best things that you can do to stand out from the rest of the crowd. So let's say a company is hiring, a company like TCS is hiring, would they prefer a person with an MBA from an IIM, or would they prefer an MBA from some local college? So that is the difference. End of the day, MBA from a top college makes a huge difference for your salary. It makes a huge difference for where you are in the company in terms of which level you are at. So it's middle management, entry level. So all those things you should be considering when you're taking an MBA. Okay, so I hope this is clear. So basically what an MBA can do is, it can kickstart your career. So instead of a normal career track where you slog every day, you have to report to 10 different people, you start at a middle management position where you have people under you, people reporting to you. Your career growth is accelerated because let's say 10% growth from a 10 lakh is much different from a 10% growth from 4 lakhs. Okay. Maybe if you're not enjoying your job, you can change your career direction. So like I said, doctors getting into finance companies, engineers getting into HR, lawyers getting into IT companies. So these are all possible here. Okay. And you can even look at starting your own business. Now, if you have an idea of starting your own business and entrepreneurship, having an MBA from a top B school actually helps in that it is easier for you to get let's say an interaction with the private investors or the equity investors or even the government for this placements. Okay. So because what happens is that the moment you say you are from an IIM and you have a business idea, people will listen to you because they think that if you're good enough to get into an IIM, your idea must be solid. It's not that people from other colleges don't have solid ideas. They do have. But then the perception of a person who's going to put his money is different in terms of what is your educational background. Now, another reason is that whenever a company is going to invest in a startup, they look at how many IIMs and IITs are there in that company. So basically, when you say that there are 10 IIMs or IITs working in this company, it shows that the company has the best of the talent, which means a company will be more willing to put in money rather than an ordinary company. So that is a basic difference. So even if you're setting up your own business, you want an accelerated career growth, you want a change in career direction, you want to kickstart your career, whatever it is you're looking at, look at MBA as the one-stop solution for all of this because that is what it can do for you. But qualified, you have to get into the best B school. So any B school won't help, you have to get into the top 50. Okay. So yeah. Now, basically, what does an MBA do? So that is the next question a lot of you would have, right? Now, if I take an MBA, so without any work experience, I go into a company. What do I do in a company? So, simple reason, we are supposed to maximize the profit. Now, how to maximize the profit? You have to increase your revenue and by reducing the cost. Now, all those things you will learn the theory in the campus and the experiential learning. So, experiential learning is that you have a lot of activities, you have a lot of competitions in campus. And the best companies come with business school, B school competitions into these campuses. Now, when you participate in those competitions, when you participate in those activities, you will get a good insight into how you can do all these things. So, that experiential learning that you get from top B schools plus the theory that you learn in the top B schools will really help you in this thing. Okay. So, this is what each profile does. Okay. So if you are into marketing, you're going to influence people. So there are some ads which still remain in our mind, right? There are some methods. So for example, I'm sure that every one of you would have a Reliance Jio SIM with you. Now, why did you pick Jio SIM? Because the first year it was free. So that was the entire branding. It was the entire marketing campaign. You are going to get internet free. And they gave such a high bandwidth that, and it was very fast. And you had a good this thing also. So which means that your browsing habits itself changed. So earlier, when we used to depend on Airtel and Idea SIMs, we know that the internet was expensive. So we would be a bit more cautious in using it. But then Jio came, our entire browsing habits changed, and now we cannot do without it. So that was marketing. How would they influence the people by giving a free product and then making them hooked and addicted on that? Okay. The other thing is operation. So if you have ordered from Flipkart, if you have ordered from Amazon, you see how quickly that thing is coming. So that again is what operations does, basically streamlining a lot of processes to ensure that whatever time is required to do is reduced. And finance basically managing money. So where do you have to invest, which company you can invest in, or which product that you should invest in, how you can reduce cost, all those things come from finance. HR basically managing people. So if you have very good people skills, if you are really good at interacting with people and you have a lot of empathy, then again HR is the area that you can definitely look at getting in. So these are all options that you can basically look at. And there is another specialization called systems. Now systems is basically IT management. So typically in a lot of colleges, around 25% of the placement happens for IT profiles, systems profiles. So even if you're a fresher, if you're an engineering graduate with a system specialization, you would still get picked up by companies like Infosys, TCS, and all for pre-sales jobs, for consulting jobs. So which is actually around 15-16 lakhs average salary package. Okay, so that is again something that you can really look forward to. So these are all people for whom MBA has made a huge difference. So there's Uday Kotak, Mr. Chairman of Kotak Bank, you have Nitin Paranjpe, Unilever Chairman. So they are all people from the top B school. So you have Jamnalal Bajaj, you have IIM Calcutta. So you'll be surprised, Mani Ratnam, who is one of the most famous directors in India, is a JBIMS graduate. Okay, so just look at this. Okay, Amish Tripathi, I'm sure you have read the Shiva trilogy and now the Ramayana series also he's writing. He's one of my favorite authors. He's an IMC grad. He was an investment banker. He quit all that to get into writing because he enjoys that and making more money than he made as an investment banker. Now, Harsha Bhogle, everyone has heard Harsha Bhogle if you're a cricket fan. You've really enjoyed his commentary. He's an IMA grad. Okay. And okay, I can't find the other guy, our Chetan Bhagat. So Chetan Bhagat is an IMA alumnus. Now, he was someone who really applied what he learned in MBA for those books. So he priced those books very cheap. So it was around 99 rupees, 95 rupees. And small books, simple language. And the marketing sphere was that he's an IIT and IIM graduate and people really wanted to know what goes on there. And that is why he's such a huge success. So look at how varied careers these people have. But then one thing that is common for all of them is that they're all from top B schools. So look at what this MBA has done for them. And you wouldn't find a person in a top leadership position without an MBA. So even outside, if you look, now you look at the list of CEOs in the global companies like, so you look at Microsoft, you look at Adobe, you look at Google, they're all headed by Indians. And these are all Indians who have done MBAs from top B schools. So that is the reason they are there. Okay. So career growth without an MBA is impossible. You have to do an MBA and you have to do it from the top B schools. So these are the companies also that come to recruit from the top B schools. So you have companies like Google, you have, so for consulting, you have Boston Consulting, McKinsey. So not just Google, Microsoft comes there, Adobe comes there. So all these companies come and pick from top B schools. Okay, you have Apple coming and picking there. Bain, McKinsey and Boston Consulting Group are consulting companies. Then you have ABG, you have Unilever, you have PepsiCo, you have Coke. So name any top company that is currently exposed in India, they would be coming to these campuses to recruit people. And for them, the salary is much higher than the normal companies. So what roles you get? You can be a management consultant, you can be an investment banker, you can be a financial analyst, brand management, sales area manager, product manager. So any different number of roles that you get. Now the other advantage of doing from studying in a top B school is that there are a lot of other opportunities also. For example, so Nestle has a marketing competition which only in the top B schools. So in 2013, the winners were from my campus. Now the prize was that all three of them would be getting a job in Nestle for 19 lakhs. So 2013, 19 lakhs is a good amount, correct? And they did not have to sit through the placement process like the rest of us. So just win a competition, get a job, and not an ordinary job, a 19 lakh job in a leadership position, that is really great. So those are the kind of opportunities that you get when you get into a top B school. Okay, so I can see a few questions. I'll do one thing. I'll answer all the questions in the chat box and the question answer box after the presentation is done, so that the flow doesn't go. So these are all things that opportunities that you're going to get when you get there. So now Mahindra had a competition called Mahindra War Room. Now they came to Lucknow for the campus round in 2012. And during the campus round presentation, they liked the person so much that they gave him a job offer on the spot. And he's still working in Mahindra. So look at the kind of opportunities that are coming for you if you're working in these kind of companies, right? So if you're into finance and analytics, you can work in, these are the companies that will recruit you. If you're into consulting, these are the companies, marketing and sales, these kind of companies come for you. General management. So there's something called TAS. TAS is basically Tata Administrative Services. So basically they are mentoring the next generation of leaders. So all these groups, Tata, Reliance, Aditya Birla, all these companies have this kind of leadership programs. So good salary, excellent career growth. So there's a person, she was my senior, she got into TAS, quit TAS. Now she's heading Xiaomi's peripherals business in India. So within 5 years, she's getting there. But that is how fast you can grow. Okay. So what colleges should you do in your MBA? So when you're talking about these kind of profiles, when you're talking about these kind of top B schools, there are certain set of B schools where these kind of companies come and where these kind of roles are offered. So basically what we call the cream de la cream, the very best of the colleges, average salary is 20 lakhs plus. So these would be the top 10 colleges in the country. So you have IIM Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Lucknow, Calcutta, Kozhikode, Indore. Okay, 6 IIMs. Then you have a college called XLRA Jamshedpur is there. Then you have Jamnalal Bajaj in Mumbai. You have FMS in Delhi. Okay, and then you have IIT Delhi. So these are all colleges which get you somewhere around 20-22 lakhs. So this is an average salary. The highest salary can go much higher. Okay, so this year is, I forgot to add this year's data. So this year the average salary in ABC is around 25.6 lakhs. Average salary in Lucknow is 24 lakhs, 24.6 lakhs. So that is how high it has gone, right? Then you have the next level, A plus college. So these colleges would be the likes of the new IIM. So you have IIM Ranchi, IIM Raipur, IIM Kashipur, all those next level IIMs and the baby IIM. So for them, the average salary is around 15 lakhs, which is still excellent, I would say. Correct. For somebody with zero work experience, getting 15 lakhs per annum a year is actually great because there's a lot of growth to that to happen from that. Okay. Then the next level, so you would have the colleges like these colleges. So you have BIM Trichy, you would have TAPME. So all those level of colleges would have somewhere around an average package of around 10 lakhs plus. So just look at these numbers, the intake. So A++, cream de la creme, and A+ is around 14,000 numbers, correct? So 14,000, can you imagine a government job which is going to offer a minimum 10 lakhs and 14,000 vacancies? There's no other option. Nowhere will you find these kind of options in any other sector. And even if you are not lucky or hardworking enough to make it to these three, even then there's a next level of colleges, maybe around 11,000 seats, but still get a 7 to 8 lakh salary. Okay, this you won't be in the middle management. You'll be in the lower middle management levels, but still there's a lot of growth to be had. Now, the problem is that in A-level colleges, the top companies wouldn't be coming. So you would have to grow through companies and then try and shift to the top companies. Okay. So now reasons not to do an MBA, because my friend is doing, I'm going to do, it's not going to work out for you. You have to genuinely believe that MBA is going to help you and it is going to make a difference to your life. If you do that, definitely it's going to make a big difference. So some people just do that, prepare for an MBA because they want to break from work. Not going to work. You have to be serious about it. Just to show that you're busy to your parents, no, won't work. You have to genuinely put an effort into it. So, like I said, there are a lot of seats available. You will not find the success rate for MBA for any other campuses. Okay. But end of the day, you have to do it for the right reasons. You have to genuinely do it for your career, and you have to do it because you genuinely want to do it. Sorry. Because that is the only way this thing is really going to make a difference for you and help you. Okay. So this is where you are, and you have an idea of where you want to be 5 years down the line or 10 years down the line. So we all have dreams, we all have aspirations. Now MBA is basically the shortcut to that. That is what I would suggest, because based on my experience, based on experience of hundreds and thousands of students that we have mentored. Okay. So this is how you can get. So your dream is maybe become a CEO in the top world class organization. So how do you get there? First, you have to get into that organization. And how to get into that top organization? You have to have an MBA from a top B school. Now, how to do that? You have to do CAT. So this is basically the journey. CAT is the first step in ensuring that you are on the right path to your career. So you prepare seriously for CAT. Then you try and get into a top B school. Once you get into a top B school, try and get into the best companies. Once you get into the best companies, try and grow in that organization. So you would find a lot of people in these companies have all grown from the ground level up. So they did not join as a CEO directly. They would have joined as a middle manager, a management trainee. So for example, Indira Nooyi, we all know Indira Nooyi. She was the chairman of PepsiCo. She joined as a management trainee in the company. Look how far she has grown. And a couple of years back, she was the most powerful, second most powerful woman in the world. So that is how highly she has reached. Correct? So this is basically your first destination. Now, I said that CAT was not the only exams that you can write. There are other exams also that you can write. But we call CAT the mother of all exams because your CAT preparation is sufficient for you to write the other exams also. Now, all of you would have heard of Symbiosis University, right? Symbiosis has around 15 MBA colleges, of which 4 are excellent. So you have SIBM Pune is there, you have SMHRD in Pune, you have SIIB in Pune, and you have SIBM in Bangalore. So these would be the top 4 colleges in Symbiosis. Now, Symbiosis has an exam called Symbiosis National Aptitude Test. Okay. Then there's a college called Narsee Monjee in Mumbai. So Narsee Monjee again is a top 10 college, around 22 lakhs is the average salary. Now they have their own exam called NMAT. Okay, so NMAT again is a exam that you can write, and there are other colleges also which take Narsee Monjee NMAT exam scores. Then IFT is a government institute, so Indian Institute of Foreign Trade. They have two campuses. One is in Delhi, one is in Calcutta. Now the advantage is that it is a government campus, and about 40% placement is foreign placement. So if you're the only thing you are looking for is a foreign placement, IFT should be your top of your list. Okay. Then EXAT is another exam. Basically, EXAT is the exam conducted by XLRI Jamshedpur. Now, a lot of these schools which take the CAT score also will take the EXAT score. So you can write all these 5 exams. Minimum these 5 exams you have to write if you want to get into the top B schools. So because you would have Symbiosis schools also in the A++ category, you would have XLRI in the Creme de la Creme category, you would have NMAT in the Narsee Monjee in the Creme de la Creme category. So when you prepare for CAT, you are preparing simultaneously for all these because the areas are similar. Only thing the exam pattern, there may be slight changes here and there. So prepare for CAT, write the marks for all these exams, and write all these exams, you can get into the top 40-50 colleges, which is really going to make a difference to your career. So these are the top institutes also which we are talking about. Okay. So these are the exams that you should be writing. These are the institutes that you should be really looking at. So basically, this is the exam pattern. So CAT is online. So usually it is held on the last Sunday of November. EXAT again is an online. It is held on the first Sunday of January. Okay. IFT is paper-based exam, but that is conducted basically the next week after CAT. So if CAT is on the last Sunday of November, IFT would happen on the first Sunday of December. NMAT, you have a testing window period. So over a 3-month period, you can write the exam. Now, SNAP again happens in mid-December. So probably around the second Sunday or third Sunday of December, SNAP exam would happen. Now, CMAT, so every college which take a CAT score, CMAT score will also take a CAT score. So you don't really have to write CMAT score. Now, MHCET is a good option. So Maharashtra Common Entrance Test, because a lot of good MBA colleges are there in Maharashtra, they also take MHCET scores in addition to CAT. So in case you don't have, you somehow miss out on CAT score, you don't have a good CAT score, but if you have a good MHCET score, you can still get into a top B schools in the country. Okay. Sorry, in Maharashtra. Then TISNET, no, ideally I wouldn't suggest TISNET for you because they tend to discourage engineers from joining. But if you're a non-engineer, TISNET is an exam you can write. Tata Institute of Social Sciences based out of Mumbai. They have a lot of programs, but their MA in HR is one of the best HR programs in the country. So I think average, the best salary, highest salary package was around 28 lakhs last year. So that is how good that is. Okay. MAT, it's not a great exam. So basically every college which take a MAT score will take CAT score. Ideally go to a college which take only CAT score because that will be the best colleges where the best students come and the best companies also come. And if you are very strong in numbers, you are very strong with statistics, he can write the PGDB exam. So IIM Calcutta, ISI Calcutta and IIT Kharagpur together conduct a analytics program in IIM Calcutta. One of the best programs for analytics. You get placed in a lot of consulting companies. Average salary is around 24 lakhs. But the exam is slightly tougher, but you can write that exam if you are really interested in statistics and analytics. And the GMAT is the exam if you want to try for MBA abroad. And also some of the colleges in India. Okay, so these are the tests that ideally you should be targeting. Now, what exactly does the top B score look for? Is it simply the test score? So if you simply get a good CAT score, it doesn't mean that you're going to make it to the top B score. So I'll give you an example of myself and my friend, my best friend. So both of us went and wrote the CAT exam together. Now, because I come from an engineering background, I was not very strong in maths. So I had a 98 percentile. My friend was an engineer, so he was very good in maths, 99.6 percentile. So that much difference was there in our CAT performance. He got calls from IIM Calcutta, IIM Lucknow, and 4 new IIMs. I got calls from IIM Lucknow and IIM Indore. When the results came out, after the interviews, I cleared both the Lucknow and Indore. I got admissions calls from both the colleges, and this guy did not get a single admission call. The simple difference was that he did not do well for the interview. So simply having a good CAT score or good academic score is not going to make a big difference because he was a college topper too. So the criteria is that for most of the B schools, 50% weightage is for your qualifying exam. So for example, CAT, 30% weightage goes for your interview performance and 10% weightage for your essay. So essay is also there now. There is no group discussion now. Instead of group discussion, you have essays. And 10% for your profile, so work experience, your academic profile, your 10th, 12th and graduation marks, all those things, extracurricular activities, hobbies, all those things. The clincher for getting into a B school is, so first thing you have to do is get a good CAT score so that you can get an interview call. And after that, you get that interview call, then don't worry about CAT score, there's nothing you can do there. Then focus on the interviews. So interviews is going to make the biggest difference in terms of whether you're going to get in or not. So what is required for an interview is that you should have things to speak. So if you have a good profile, so that is the next thing that you have to look for. If you have a good profile, it's easier to crack an interview than if you are simply a academic or a purely academic student, or if you're a purely studious person. Okay, so they look at all these things, but the weightage is highest for entrance test and your interview performance. So this is basically what you should be doing. So initially, you should be, so this timeline you will have to crunch a bit. So you will have to build concepts. Then once you are strong with your concepts, then you will have to do problem solvings to understand how to apply those concepts. And once you're strong in applying those concepts and solving problems, then your time management becomes important. So that is when you start taking the test, your mock test. Okay. So what are the areas that you need to prepare for CAT exam, or for that matter, any MBA entrance exam in the country? So obviously the first is quantitative aptitude, which is your maths problem solving. So I'm sure that being engineers, maths would not be a huge issue for you, correct? Second thing is verbal ability and reading comprehension. Now, to prepare for that, the best thing to do is regularly read English newspapers every day. So spend 1 hour reading the editorial page and the finance and business page every day. You will definitely do well for your verbal ability and reading comprehension. Data interpretation is pretty easy. So you don't have to be very strong in maths to solve data interpretation. If you can think logically, if you can understand numbers and understand the relation, your DA also is going to be easy. Logical reasoning, again, if you can think, that should work out. And current affairs, again, generally if you read newspapers regularly, so basically when you talk about current affairs, now what has happened in the last 8 to 9 months. So if you read regularly newspapers, that should take care of your current affairs also. Okay. Now, what are the advantages of CAT preparation? Basically, so CAT preparation is not simply help you get into a top B school. There are other advantages. So basically, your spin-off, what you can say. So while I was preparing for CAT, so one thing I did not mention to Ravi sir also was that when I was preparing for CAT, I simply went and wrote all the exams just for the, just to understand how the exams work. So getting that exam mode, seeing all those competitors sitting next to you, getting to terms with the exam pressure. So when I see others sitting with me writing exams, I'm not going to feel pressured when I write CAT. So that is the reason we went and wrote exams. But I cracked State Bank exam while preparing for CAT. So I did not prepare for bank exams. I never prepared for any bank exams. My entire focus was on CAT. But when I wrote bank exams, I cracked State Bank entrance exam. And you would be surprised, Kerala Circle, I was the second rank. The first rank was my best friend, the guy who went and wrote CAT with me. So preparing for CAT was actually what helped both of us crack the SBI exam. And surprisingly, of the 40 people selected in Kerala Circle, the top 10 ranks are people who are preparing for CAT. And Karnataka Circle also typically similar numbers. So preparing for CAT basically puts you at a higher level than any other aptitude-based exam in India. So when you look at a government exam, when you look at a bank exams, your CAT preparation is actually at a higher level, which means that you tend to do better for those things. And the other thing that we have seen is that, so when you're preparing for CAT, you are preparing for aptitude, you're preparing for verbal ability, you're preparing for reasoning, and you're also preparing for interviews when you're preparing for CAT. So we tell you how to create your resume, we tell you how to sit for interviews, we give you interview training. So all these things happen when you prepare for CAT. Which means that when you sit for your placement test is going to be a mini CAT. So it's going to be much easier because you are prepared at a higher level. And second thing is because you are prepared for interview for CAT and MBA entrance exams, your job interview is also going to be kind of easier because you know how to face an interview compared to the rest of your batchmates. So preparing for CAT actually helps you clear a lot of bank exams and government exams. It also helps you clear placement exams and interviews. Okay. And third thing is it genuinely improves your problem solving skills. So I found that after I started taking CAT, even normal, genuine day-to-day life problems, I find that I'm able to get better solutions because I started to think logically. So basically problem solving for CAT actually helped me streamline my thought process, made me more logical and made me improve my problem solving skills. So these are all advantages which you can get when you get into CAT preparation. Okay, so but you have to be serious. You cannot be doing it because your girlfriend is doing it or because your friend is doing it. You cannot be doing it because you just want to spare some time. Okay, so you have some free time, you want to do something. No, don't. Be serious. You're serious about this. All these things are genuinely possible. Now, I was talking about profile. Now, how does profile help us? Now, when you go for an interview, basically it may be around 20 to 30 minutes. So 20 to 30 minutes, you have to have stuff to talk. Even if you are a rank student, let's say you're the first rank student, you go and sit for an interview. If they ask you something about what you studied in first year, I can guarantee you 90% of you will not be able to answer even though you would have got the highest score in that particular subject. Because we don't remember, we study for exams, we don't remember all this stuff. So it's important that you should have things to talk about during the interview. So basically profile building. So what profile building does is, it gives you points to talk about in your interview. So I'll give you an example of a couple of my students. So there was this guy who studied from an engineering college in Thrissur. So very ordinary engineering college, and this guy was not an excellent student, very poor student to be honest. And so poor that he had supply for every exam that he wrote. So all 40 exams he had to write. It took him 2.5 years to complete his engineering after he passed out. So it took him 7.5 years to complete his engineering degree. Now, when you look at purely from an academic perspective, this is not a guy who will ever make it to any of the B schools. But then he came to me, he wrote CAT, he got an interview call. He came to me, he said, sir, this is my academics, I cannot do anything. But luckily for him, because he did not have engineering degree, he did not have a job, he was roaming around with those friends who were planning to start a movie. And they had announced a movie. So I told, get a certificate saying that you are the assistant director here. And when he went for the interview, so typically the first question for any MBA interview is, tell me something about yourself. So he goes, I am so and so, I did engineering from this college, blah, 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 all these things. The greatest achievement in my life is I am the assistant director in an upcoming Malayalam movie. Now, movie is something a lot of people can't resist. So every interview that he got, the next question was, tell us something more about the movie. So we actually gave the interview panelists something interesting to talk about. And the entire thing was focused on this one thing alone. So the focus was on the focus was on the movies, and we trained him well to talk about movies. We taught him about movie industry, we taught him about corporatization of movie industry, and he was able to talk well on that. Not one question went towards his academics, and he completed his MBA from IIT Delhi last year. So imagine that profile, even though it was a bit late in building up that profile, it really helped. Okay? So academic profile building and your non-academic profile building makes a big difference. So from a purely academic perspective, obviously you should have good grades. So good grades really help in having a good academic profile. So the moment you say I'm a gold medalist or I'm a top 10 student, they know that okay, you're a good student, right? Then the other thing that you can do is participate in competitions. So when you participate in competitions, it shows your confidence levels. It also shows how competitive you are. So getting in the corporate world, it's not going to be easy. You have to work hard for that. So when you're participating in competitions, it shows that you are not one person who will shy away from competition. You're going to be there. You're going to work hard for it. So that helps. Then try and get certification. So if you're interested in, let's say, marketing, so if you have a certification in digital marketing, that again helps. Okay. So you can do certification in Google AdWords, you can do analytics. So analytics is again one of the areas which is really coming up. So there's a lot of job opportunities to be had in analytics, right? Then you can get into research. So if you have made a paper presentation in some seminars, so if you have made a publication in some seminars or some research papers, that again adds a lot of value to your candidature because it shows that you've been a good student. So these are the things that you can do from a purely academic profile building point. And non-academic profile building point is basically these are the things that you can do. So participate in extracurricular activities. So if you are a national level swimmer, you have a band of your own, or any other activity. So you are a black belt in karate, you are a national champion in karate, or a state champion. So all those things add value to your profile because it shows that you are not just a student, you also have a lot of other areas of strength. Second is, this is something which is very important for a lot of B schools. So whether you're going to get into a B school where you're going to get 20 lakhs, 25 lakhs as average salary when you start up. Now, what are you planning to give back to society? So that is a question which a lot of B schools would have in their mind when they recruit you. So if you show that you have been active with some NGOs, you have been active with some sort of social work, it shows that you're a person who genuinely has concerns about society and wants to change society. So it's easier for those kind of people to get into a B school. So you can get into rural digitization, Teach for India, even organizations. So a lot of NGOs are there where you can really work for it. Then basically positions of responsibility. So if you're a person who is looking for leadership responsibility, so maybe college union chairman, student council president, or maybe there is a tech fest in your college, or maybe an arts fest in your college, you're head of fundraising, you're head of marketing, you're head of sponsorship. So somebody who seeks out leadership positions is somebody who will definitely go on and excel in life because you are not afraid of leadership, right? So when you show that you have that positions of responsibilities in college, that again helps add to your profile. And you will be able to talk about these things also in your interview. And last is, if you do some internships, that again shows how genuinely interested you are in getting skills, learning new things and working. So that again makes a big difference in terms of what you can do in terms of your profile and how much you can talk in terms of your interview. Okay. So basically that is my presentation. For first step is think about CAT because CAT is going to get you to the top B schools, correct? And once you get into the top B schools, then you can go on to have a great career. Once you get to B school, what you have to do, you can choose one of these specializations. Okay. Now to get into a B school, you have to write those exams. 6 exams are I suggested. Areas you have to prepare, I have told you. Which colleges you have to get into, I have told you. And how to build your academic profile also, we have discussed. So now, in case you have any queries, what you can do is that either you can call this number or WhatsApp or send a mail to this number, or you can WhatsApp me in this number or mail me in this mail ID. Okay. I'll try to answer all your queries. So this is in case you want to connect later on. But right now, what we'll do is that we'll have I'll answer all the questions in the chat box and the Q&A box. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So we anonymous attendee. Yes, we will be sharing this recording to. I'll be sharing it to your HOD and sir. So you can get that. Okay. And chat box. Let's see. Okay, yeah. So if you have any questions, I can answer that. So in terms of your specific profile, in terms of your what you should be doing right now, whether you should write for next year or any of those things, you can just ask in the chat box.
So I request to participant, if any doubts you can ask now. Sir, one question is there from Deepa Lakshmi madam.
Yes, sir.
Can I get this PPT and
Yeah. See, what we'll be doing, we'll share this recording to you, sir.
okay, sir.
So you can share it to the other students also. Even those who missed and want to watch it, they can watch it.
Yes, sir. So any other questions from the
So
participants?
guys, if you have any career-related queries or why you should be doing an MBA now, what you should do to prepare, okay. He said, see, I'm a BCom final year student. Should I get a job surely after doing it? See, thing is that, like I said, now this is me. I hope you have heard of a company called CRISIL. So CRISIL does ratings for companies. Now they did an analysis of all the MBA colleges in the country. So there are around 4,500 MBA colleges they have studied, and they said 1%, basically top 50 are the ones that are going to get you a minimum 10 lakh placement and 100% placement. So if you can get into a top B school, okay. So top B schools means any of the IMs, any of the top 4 symbiosis, JB IMS. So we have a list. So you can go to the IMS website and you can look at the B school ranking. So you'll see what are the CDC colleges, cream de la cream. You'll have A++, A+ colleges. So these are the colleges that is definitely going to get you. Surely you'll get a job unless you screw up so badly. Okay, so you have to, at least if you decently work in an MBA college, you will get a good job. But if you fail, then there is no option. But if you do decently well in an MBA college, you will get a job. If you are in the top 50 colleges, you will definitely get a job which is about 10 lakhs per annum. Okay? So it doesn't matter whether you're a BCom or whether you're an engineering graduate, it doesn't matter. So I'm a lawyer, right? So look at me. I'm actually heading a company's 2 regions. So getting a job is not a problem if you're from a top B school. Okay, so how can you make, so this is from Syed. So how can you make one's profile interesting? So profile means basically what all you have done, right? So if you are, let's say, a good student, now when you go to an interview, if your resume says that you are a gold medalist and nothing else, your entire questions will be based on what you have studied. But instead of just saying I'm a gold medalist, let's say you say you are a top 10 student, but you are the college union president, or you are the fundraising chairman for a tech fest in the college, or you are part of a NGO which is teaching underprivileged kids, or you are a part of an NGO which is providing food to hospitals, correct? So these are all things that adds to your profile. So participate in some social, NGOs or some social organizations, okay? Participate, try to get into leadership positions in various those organizations or these kind of things. Participate in competitions, get some certifications, do some internships. These are all things that can really substantially improve your profile. So when you come to a MBA college and when you sit for your placement in your MBA college also, this still helps. So to say that you've been part of a, let's say, NGO and you have done these work there, that will really impress a company which is coming to recruit you. Not just in your engineering college, also in your MBA college and also for your MBA interviews, admissions. Okay. So all those things you can do to improve your profile. So do some certifications, do some internships, help volunteer for some NGOs and social organizations, try to improve your academic grades, get some leadership positions, all those will help. Okay, how much percentage in graduation needed to get admission top colleges? So you will need somewhere around 50%. So 50 to 60% is a minimum cutoff required. So it doesn't, you don't need 90-95% and also I'll tell you my profile. So I had just 87% in 10th, just 78 in 12th, and my graduation score was around 70. So in spite of that, I made it to the top 4, the 4th best B school in the country. So academics is not a big thing. As long as you get an interview call and you can impress them for the interviews, you're safe. Yeah, so here are some things. Okay, how much time is required for preparation to CAT exam you've done individually? See, Sunita, what do you mean by individually? Do you mean that? Yeah, I'll answer one by one. So, do you mean that individually means without taking help of any institutes and just doing by yourself? See, anyway, I have showed you how to prepare for CAT, right? So, first is you have to get the basics right. Now, for a person sitting and preparing alone, basics will definitely come. Now, when you start applying it, that is where the difference will happen. So, for example, see. from our first standard till our graduation, we have been taught to solve things in a particular way. So even if your answer is wrong for maths, if your steps were right, you would still get marks. So our focus has always been on the process, not on the result. In CAT, we are flipping it. So CAT, you don't care how you're getting the answer. Only thing that they care about is the answer should be right. So more than the process, the result is what is important for CAT. So basically, you will need to change the way you think. So you will have to look at shortcuts. So when I'm solving a problem, I don't look at how many steps I'm going to do. I'm going to look at how can I solve it in the next 10 seconds. So I will see if I can solve it from the options. I will see if there is any shortcuts. I will see if I can do some approximations. So depending on what kind of help you get, the time will change. So like I said, so I prepared for CAT just 3 months. So I spent 3 months on CAT preparation. I made it to Lucknow. One of my students, he was working in Dubai. He resigned, came down, prepared for 1 month. He is completing his MBA from IIM Bangalore this year. So for each person, it is different. Depends on what is your thinking level and how much guidance you are getting. So mentoring makes a big difference in terms of how you can do that. Okay, Shivam, I'm currently pursuing a final year in engineering. Should I wait for my final year to complete or should I start preparing for my CAT exam right now? See, my suggestion is that you can write CAT this year itself, because even if you don't make it, you will have a clear idea of what you should write. So my own experience, I wrote CAT twice. I did not clear the first time because I missed out on the quant percentage. But in the second year I wrote, I focused a bit more and I cracked the exam. So it doesn't matter. I think you can start preparing right now and give it a good shot, because I don't know how will be the placement this year, because none of the companies are also doing that well. So companies also, let's say companies like TCS, Infosys, which typically used to recruit 200 students from a campus, now that may go down to maybe 50. You don't know how recruitment will happen, because last year students they have picked up, they have not given a job till now. So they haven't started working, which means that to give them work, and only after that they'll be able to come to other campuses. So better you start preparing for a CAT right now. So if you get in a good school, it's even better, correct? Okay, Deepa Lakshmi, I like to do a job in government of MBA due to job secure like DRDO. So the problem, Deepa, is that, so I'll give you my example. So when I wrote the State Bank exam, there were 1,000 vacancies. 15 lakh people wrote the exam. Correct. So 15 lakh people writing the exam, being 1,000 out of that 15 lakh is not easy. So, and because the government is going to privatize a lot of things, so maybe DRDO will not be privatized. But then all the other companies will be privatized. Let's say ONGC or Oil India Corporation, all these companies are going to be privatized, which means the number of government jobs that you can aspire for is going to come down. Okay. Now, whether you can get in a government after MBA, you can get into. So, a lot of my batchmates, a lot of my seniors have tried for civil service. Some of them are already in the civil service. So, there was a guy called Gaurav. He was my senior in MBA, IIM Lucknow. This guy was the second rank holder from IIM Lucknow, and he was also an IAS second rank holder. So, that option is there. But then the other aspect is that I like to do my job and see job security. If you look at the job losses across the country, the people who have lost their jobs are people who are in the lower levels. None of the middle management or the upper management who have MBA from top colleges have yet to lose their job. So none of my batchmates have lost their job. None of my seniors have lost their job. None of my juniors have lost their job. They're still in their job. So this MBA from a premium job college will actually act as a security. Okay. So if you're from an MBA from an ordinary college, you can still lose your job. But from a top B school, companies will be reluctant to lose people like you. Okay. So whether you can work in a government job, see, government jobs you'll have to write government exams, but then the number of jobs are going to reduce. And the thing is that, would you rather work for 30 lakhs in a company like United Technologies or let's say Sikorsky, or would you work for 10 lakhs in a government? That's a difference. Okay, so Shashank, if a person writes CAT in final year of engineering and applies for MBA without any work experience, how much advantage will someone with a work experience have over someone who just graduated? Absolutely zero, Shashank. Because if you go to any top B school profile, so I give you my own batch example. About 30% of students in my batch were zero work experience. Basically, guys who were in the final year of college wrote CAT, went in there and cracked the interview. So 30% would be zero work ex. About 30% would be 0 to 1.5 years of work ex. 30% would be 1.5 to 4 years. 10% more than 4 years. So it's not like work experience is going to give you a lot of advantage. The only difference a work experience candidate and a student has is this. when you sit for an interview for a work experience candidate, the interview questions will be based on what work he has done. For a student, the questions will be based on what he has studied. Now that is where your profile comes in. So if you have done a lot of things in college, you can talk about those things in the interview. So it takes away from your lack of work experience. So work experience, profile are all talking points rather than a thing which gives you marks. So if you have a lot of things to talk about in your interview, that actually helps a lot. So without work experience, you can definitely make it. So work experience, zero advantage. The only thing that matters is how confident you are in the interview and how well you can answer their queries. Okay. I've just got into Ankit Yadav. So I've just got into final year of mechanical engineering. I've just started CAT preparation. Should I prepare for November 2020 exam, which is 4 months? Or should I focus on 2020? See, why not try right now? So anyway, you have started preparing, right? So you write CAT 2020. If case it doesn't work out, you can try out for CAT 21. But then, what if it works out? You're saving 1 year, correct? And it's not like placements are going to be really great this year. So that is something that you have to really think about. Yeah, so any other questions? Yeah, Shashank, I have just answered a question. So all those you're thinking about whether to write CAT 2020, I would suggest that please write CAT 2020. There is nothing stopping you from writing that. And in case it works out well, great, you're saving 1 year, correct? So any other questions, any other queries?
Sir, I have a question.
So in case you have any further queries, what you can do is either you can WhatsApp me at my personal number or you can send a mail to my mail ID. Okay?
Okay.
I'll try to answer that.
So can I conclude the session?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So what we'll do is that we'll also share this recording to you guys.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So I'll share it to you, sir. So you can share it to the children and even those who have registered but missed out, you can share it to them.
Okay, sir.
Right, sir. Yeah.
Good afternoon to all. It's the time to offer vote of thanks on behalf of management, principal, HOD, and participants. I wholeheartedly thank Mr. Cherian Thomas, sir, for the topic sharing the information about the CAT exam and career in management. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay. I sincerely thank all the participants for their active participation. And I hope that they will make best use of this webinar in their future careers. I, on the behalf of the entire HSIT family, express a deep sense of gratitude towards the management and principal, Dr. S.C. Kamte sir of our college, for their kind support and encouragement towards their this webinar. I take the opportunity to thank our beloved HOD, Dr. Ravi M. Yadhali sir, for his encouragement, guidance, and continuous support for successful conduction of this webinar. Thank you very much, sir. And I thank all my colleagues for their coordination in this process in conducting this webinar. Thank you. Thank you, Anand.
Right. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ravi, sir. Thank you, DB, sir. It's an honor and a pleasure to be in touch with so many students. So I hope you will take something out of this webinar and have a great career. So bye, guys. Take care. All the best.
Thank you, Mr. Cherian.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ravi, sir. Thank you, DB, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll get in touch with you, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, please.